I introduce you to respected journalist Jennifer Crompton with WMUR-TV New Hampshire. In May 2014, she covered a UFO story mentioning the town of Portsmouth. A year later, she then covered the story about how Pease Air Force Base poisoned the local groundwater with PFAS. Some will admire journalistic integrity in not proposing a link between the two. Others may suspect the fear of populace intimidation against anyone suggesting that UFOs outfly the pilots and leadership of the United States Air Force to point out its criminal incompetence.
The movies have made aliens and UFOs part of our popular culture. Think E.T. and Close Encounters of the Third Kind. But sightings of unidentified flying objects are very much a part of our daily lives as well. They are actively investigated, even here in New Hampshire. Jennifer Crompton with the story.
It made headlines in the 1960s. Portsmouth couple Betty and Barney Hill's chilling story of a UFO sighting in the White Mountains, an alleged encounter with aliens. Barney! Even turned into a movie years later. Mark Podell is one of nearly 100 MUFON investigators spread across the country. He's been working here, specifically in New Hampshire, since late 2013, and he says he gets 5 to 10 new reported cases here in New Hampshire every month. In Derry, Jennifer Crompton, WMUR News 9. You know, there's been a fair amount of frustration about what many saw as inaction by the federal government after the contaminant was discovered in the water supply last year. It took nearly a year for people concerned about exposure to be tested, and until late yesterday, there was no plan for cleaning it up. Underneath the giant runway at the Pease Trade Port and the many acres around it is a major aquifer supplying water to thousands of people. Water in which a contaminant was discovered last year with levels nearly 13 times what's allowed in one of 3 wells here.
So the Haven well is the one that was above the Provisional Health Advisory last May. It was shut down.
Pipes from all 3 meet in this pump house. The Smith and Harrison wells are constantly monitored. Their levels of PFO still acceptable, but it's a contaminant of emerging concern. PFO was an element in firefighting foam used for years when Pease was an Air Force base. Late Wednesday, the EPA issued a clear directive to the Air Force to clean it up.
And they'll get a consultant on board. They'll do some design of what type of system could treat for this, and then, design it, construct it, get it online.
It's something the city and many concerned citizens have been pushing for a very long time.
It's going to help us ensure we get the water cleaned up. We know we need to do this, and we need to do it fast.
The Air Force has 14 months to get a system running and to have a contingency plan for all Pease wells, as well as private ones nearby.
It's not enough just to say we're going to shut it down. We've got to restore it. And so I think that, to me, is the most compelling thing about the EPA's order, because it means we're going to restore the aquifer and get it back online.
It steps up something that eventually may have happened, but now we have a clear directive which is set forth, now, which is great.
500 people, by the way, signed up to be tested, and a community advisory board has been holding information meetings. Next Wednesday, they'll host a specialist from Harvard to address concerns about the effects of PFOs on children. We're live in Portsmouth. Jennifer Crompton, WMUR News 9.